Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin World International Coin Channel. And today we have another of the coins that Bungle sent us. Bungle Collects Coins, and we'll put a little link in. And they sent us, well, look at this thing. This is a key ring. Now, on top of it is the Dickens coin from 2012, the Dickens 2 pound. But first, let's look at the key ring. And now Bungle knows how I would never ever touch a coin or anything in a plastic wrap. And so he sent me a key ring in this plastic wrap, and I can't open it. So it's not any good to me. I just want to say to Bungle and to Lady M, you know how I respect these proof key rings, and I would never open a proof key ring. If you want me to use a key ring, Bungle, you're going to have to send me one that's not a proof set key ring in the plastic wrap. And I also noticed that Bungle made some fun in one of his videos of the pen that I use to point things out. Now, I know that Bungle's probably not a big writer, and the reason I know that is because he uses a swizzle stick in the Bungle colors to point things out. And the only thing I know swizzle sticks are used for is drinking, mixed drinks. So I don't know what to think about Bungle, but regardless, he gave us this coin, and the coin itself, no matter what I think about Bungle, the coin is magnificent. This is something that is really hard to get in the United States because, of course, we can't ever get circulated copies unless somebody brings one back. And there are so few circulated copies of this Dickens coin, the Dickens 2 pound from 2012, that it is really, really, really hard to get. So let's see what it is and what's on it. And we'll start, of course, with the front side. Now, there are rumors, not just rumors, there are people who are saying that some of these are error coins. And if you are worried or wondering whether you have a 2 pound error coin from 2012, I can tell you you do not have one. If you have any questions, one of the best sources for this is coinhunter.co.uk, coinhunter.co.uk, and they'll talk to you about these coins. Now, what do people say are errors, and what did the Sun say was an error coin that sold for $3.50 on YouTube? Well, they said, look at these dots here on the inside and see how they're not there, and then look how they're really prominent here. And they said, this is an error. They didn't set these in right. Now, of course, this is a bimetallic coin, so you put the nickel center in the brass, and this particular coin didn't get set right. But I'll tell you what, a lot of 2 pound coins don't get set right. So this is copper nickel, this is a nickel brass ring, and let's look at another 2 pound coin. Look at this one. This doesn't have any dots on this side. Is that an error? No, it's not an error. These are the Ian Rank Broadley, of course, portraits of Queen Elizabeth, the 4th portrait. The other thing that they say is an error is that if you tip it up, now this is a different coin. This is a Standing on the Shoulders of Giants 2 pound. If you tip it up and the letters are upside down, then you have an error coin. Well, let's tip it up. And the letters are upside down on this one. Is this an error coin? No, it is not. Again, look at Coin Hunter UK, and you'll see. Now, what does this say on the edge? Something will turn up. A direct quote from a Dickens book. Let's see if any of you know which Dickens book that is. The Something Will Turn Up. Is it Oliver Twist? Is it Bleak House? Is it David Copperfield? Who knows? Look it up. And the third thing that they say is, so this is not an error. Whether this is facing this way or facing this way, that's not an error coin. However, here's what I want to look at. There's another one that says if you don't have the full L's on here, that's an error. Like if this doesn't come out to the side. It turns out that it's really hard to get what they call this incused legend or in other words, the stamped in letters. And sometimes you get like a little, you don't see much of that L sticking out. Still not an error coin that's worth anything. So what is it worth? Well, Coin Hunter UK says it's worth a couple pounds. Um, Probably £2.70 is the mid price, they say. Now, what about the back? What's Dickens about this? Well, this is the fun part. 1812, it says here. Charles Dickens, 1870. So what does any of this have to do with Dickens? Well, he was born in 1812, and so that's why the 2012 coin was on the 200th anniversary of his birth. Acknowledged as one of the great writers in history. In the 1870, so you see 1812 to 1870, so that was his date of death, 1870, and of course that's a pretty young man, at least from my perspective these days. He died in 1870, and that means he was 58 years old. Now, where's the Dickens part here? Well, if you look this outline here, you come down, you can see there's an eye here, a nose here, a mouth that kind of comes across. Let's see if we can get it in a different light, and you might be able to see it a little. Look at that. So see if you follow this line down, you see kind of the nose here, the mouth here, and then this long beard that comes down, and you go around here and you get the back of his head and his hair. What else do we see in there? Well, this is the beauty of this engraving, right? Just a sweet, sweet engraving. And this engraving is by Matthew Dent. And how do we know it's Matthew Dent? We look right over here and we see his initials, MD. Now, this is a kind of a funny engraving. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me at first blush of the United States New Hampshire State Quarter, which has the Old Man of the Mountain. And there used to be this mountain formation in the White Mountains of New Hampshire, which all the rocks, if you looked at it from the side, it looks like it was an old man sitting up there. That's what reminds me of. But that's only at first blush, because once you get down into here and magnify it, you start seeing there's letters and stuff here. And that's really, really cool. And what did Matthew Dent do? Well, he put the books in that Charles Dickens wrote. If we look up here, we'll see, look at this one. Bleak House. That's a book by Dickens. A Christmas Carol. See the C-A-R-O-L? A Tale of Two Cities. Now, many of you may have seen that film or read that book. Pictures from Italy. The Old Curiosity Shop. That's another one they've done a play of. And Great Expectations. Wow, what a amazing Masterpiece Theatre and British production Great Expectations was. David Copperfield. And so as we go down here, we see all these, see the and Sons. I'm not sure the name of Dombey and Sons, I think is that one. And if we tip it sideways, we can see all these other words. The Battle of Life, I think that one is. The Pickwick Papers. The Cider one, I'm not sure which one that is Oliver Twist. There's Little Dorrit. And so all these are actually the names or titles of books that he wrote. And so that when you get way down, look at that right there. If you just tip it just right, you can see all those letters and how they kind of, he sticks them together. And then, of course, this C and O here is his mouth. And then this G for Great Expectations is his nose. And way up here, the C and the A end up being the eyes of Dickens if we tip it up just right. So, is this a error coin because it doesn't have the beads on both sides? No. The process of jamming this copper nickel center into this brass ring is really hard, and almost all of these coins, you hardly ever see one that's perfect. Is there some value to any of these? Yes, there is. If you get a proof version of this coin, it's worth $20+. That's because they only made about 100,000 proof coins. Really hard to get a proof set from 2012, as you'll see if you try to get one. If you get and that's a proof set. Proof set could be worth up as much as $50 for this one coin. Now, they also made 100,000 BUNCs, as Bungle calls them, or brilliant uncirculated, and those ones are worth $20+ each too. So if you can get any of the mint sets on these, if you need to spend $30 for a mint set for 2012, spend it. This coin itself is going to be worth more than 20. All right, so that's pretty much all we have. I want to go back, and I want to thank Bungle again for sending me this coin, and we're going to go through another few coins as we go along. And I also want to thank Bungle and Lady M for being the object of my amusement and making fun of them. I would ask them, since they offered, if they could please send me a swizzle stick as soon as possible, because summer's here and I might very well need to have a mixed drink at some point soon. Thanks for watching DC Coin World International Coin Channel, and please subscribe to our channel and leave any comments you might have in the comments section.